Hello children, today we are going to study about minerals. Last class we discussed about the first part of chapter 7, rocks. The three types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. So today we are dealing with the second part of chapter 7, that is minerals. Minerals are actually non-living substances, naturally occurring non-living substances. They are formed under the earth. Actually, they are underground natural resource. What is a resource? It is something that is stocked and can be used by others in future. So, it is a natural resource, means it is stocked by nature for people to use. So, minerals are non-living, naturally occurring substances formed in earth. They are also known as underground natural resources. Mainly, minerals can be classified into two types: metallic minerals and non-metallic minerals. From the name itself, it is very clear that metallic minerals have some connection with metals. It's true. Metallic minerals contain metals, one or more metals, and the metal which is in more amount can be profitably extracted from these metallic minerals. So, the metal that we use are extracted from metallic minerals. They are also called ores. This is the spelling of ores. So, ores actually contain metals, and they have a mixture of metals, not only one metal, different metals are there. So, the metals which are in more amount will be extracted from this ore. The ore is actually a mixture of different metals. I have shown some examples of different metals and the ores or metallic minerals from which they are extracted. The most common metals that we use. The first one is iron, the very widely used metal, isn't it? Everywhere we have iron objects around us. So, iron is extracted from a metallic mineral or an ore called hematite. Hematite is the ore of iron, or hematite is the ore which contains iron or from which iron is extracted profitably, and this picture shows hematite. Second one is aluminium. Aluminium is extracted from an ore called bauxite, but that doesn't mean that bauxite contains only aluminium, but that is the dominant mineral or metal in that ore. So, aluminium is extracted from bauxite. The picture of bauxite is shown here with so much of pattern like things and all, very beautiful to see, isn't it? The next one is copper. Copper is extracted from a metallic mineral called pyrite. The picture of pyrite is shown here. It has somewhat color of copper, red color and all, shade and all we can see there. Next one is zinc. Zinc is extracted from a metallic mineral called calamine. Calamine, the picture is shown here. So, these are the ores or metallic minerals from which we profitably extract metal. So, metallic minerals are of much importance because we have different uses from metals, like we use it to make utensils, furnitures, then coins, wires, then the car parts, that means vehicle parts, like that. So many uses are there for metals. So, a life without metals, I think it is impossible. So, that is of much importance. So, metallic minerals are also of much importance. There are certain other metals like silver, gold, platinum. They are also metals. They are also extracted from their ores, and they are used for making jewelry also. So, this is all about metallic minerals. Metallic minerals contain metals, different types of metals from which they are profitably extracted. The second type of mineral is non-metallic mineral. From the just like the other one, from the name itself it is clear that non-metallic minerals does not contain any metals. We cannot extract anything from non-metallic minerals. Mainly coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum are termed as non-metallic minerals. They are not metallic in nature. There are certain features which make a thing metallic or metal. So that properties are not present in coal and petroleum. The best example is metals will always have a shining appearance. There are exceptions, okay, but generally metals have a shining appearance. But do we have shining appearance for coal and petroleum? No. The metals normally are hard, but here petroleum is a liquid, it is not at all hard. Coal is also not hard. I will show you the picture of coal. I hope you all know what is coal. So that makes it different from metals. They are called non-metals. So coal and petroleum are mainly termed as non-metallic minerals. We cannot extract anything from non-metallic minerals. Now let us study some details about coal and petroleum. Coal is known as fossil fuel. I'll tell you the reason. Okay. So before that we can study how coal is formed. Earlier days, the land was low lying and consists of swampy forest. Due to natural calamities, the trees they actually fell into the swamp and they get covered by new vegetation. As new vegetation started growing, it pressed the dead plants to the bottom. Because of the heat and pressure applied by the new vegetation, these dead plants slowly changed into coal. So you can just imagine that how much time is required for this process. Changing of dead plants to a black colored coal. See, the picture of coal is shown here. It is not at all like plant or any plant part. The color, the texture, nothing is like a normal plant. So we can just think about how much time will be required to convert to this entirely different thing, to change these dead plants into this different thing. It takes millions and millions and millions of years ago. So these things that lived in a time and was buried under the earth are termed as fossils. It can be anything. Fossils can be anything that once lived. So as these coal and petroleum are formed from fossils that lived once at a time, these are termed as fossil fuels. And coal and petroleum are mainly used as fuels. That is why it got the name fossil fuels. It is formed from fossils and it is mainly used as fuel. So it is called fossil fuels. So this process actually takes millions and millions of years ago. So that is why it is called a non-renewable natural resource. Non-renewable means it cannot be renewed back. Once if it gets over, it takes millions and millions of years to form again. And we know that there are not much swampy forests nowadays. We are cutting all those forests and buildings, making buildings, isn't it? So there are no more forests left for falling down of trees and changing into coal. So that is actually something that should not be expected in future. So the coal reserves that we have now should be properly conserved so that the future generations can also use this valuable resource. So these are the interesting things about coal. And I have listed some places in India which has coal in it. And Asia has almost 1/3 of coal production. Coal reserves. Okay. So the places in India is Sohagpur in Madhya Pradesh, Dhanbad in Jharkhand, Raniganj in West Bengal, Neyveli in Tamil Nadu and Singareni in Telangana. I'll tell you once again. Sohagpur in Madhya Pradesh, Dhanbad in Jharkhand, Raniganj in West Bengal, Neyveli in Tamil Nadu and Singareni in Telangana. This coal, I told you, it is used as a fuel. Main purpose of coal is using it as a fuel in different situations. Let us take a look at the uses of coal. The first and important thing is using in cooking. Coal is used as a fuel for cooking, but that is not a practical thing to use coal for cooking, isn't it? Because we are normally using LPG gas, liquefied petroleum gas for cooking. Coal being a non-renewable natural resource, should we adopt or should we use coal as a cooking gas or a cooking mean? No, because we have many alternative sources. So, no need of depending upon a non-renewable resource if we have an alternate for it. Okay, so normally this is not preferred for cooking, but it is also a use of coal. Okay. And heating homes and buildings, that means supplying the heat energy to homes and buildings, producing electricity in power plants. Normally electricity is produced in more amount in hydroelectric power plants. You might have heard about hydroelectric power plants. Hydroelectric means energy or electrical energy is produced from water. Hydro means water. So, normally we allow water from dams to fall down from those shutters and they turn the turbines that is transmitted and it is produced as electric current. So, normal producing of electric or the electric current that we use is from water. But there are thermal power plants. Thermal power plants means they make use of coal as an energy source to produce electricity, but that is not too much promoted because we don't have much reservoirs of coal to just burn it and produce electricity. Coal is normally for burning, isn't it? So, once if it is burned, it is lost. So, no need of burning the whole coal reserves that is present underground and producing electricity because we have water in plenty. So, that is what I told. If we have an alternate source in plenty, we can depend on that. So, instead of producing electric current through by burning coal, we can use water in hydroelectric power stations. We can use solar energy which is readily available by using solar panels and all. So, this is not much opted by people or industries, but there are thermal power plants which use coal in order to produce electricity. Next is in steam engines. You might have seen in trains and all, the engines and all, it is in olden days only, not nowadays. Now there are more electric trains. Olden days they used to put this coal to produce heat energy to run the train and all. So, mainly steam engines and all are used to produce heat energy. Then in blast furnace in steel industry. In steel industry, that means the industry which produce steel, they actually inject this coal into blast furnace. Blast furnace is a special type of furnace, an apparatus like thing which is used to produce steel, and this coal is directly injected into or that is added into the blast furnace in preparation for steel. So, these are the important uses of coal. Coal is actually a fossil fuel, as it was formed from fossils and is mainly used as a fuel. It got the name fossil fuels. So, that is one type of non-metallic mineral. So, we learned about minerals. Minerals are actually naturally occurring non-living substance that is found under the earth or in the earth. It is known as underground natural resource. Two types of minerals, metallic and non-metallic. Metallic minerals are the minerals from which metals can be profitably extracted, like iron is extracted from hematite, aluminum is extracted from bauxite and all. Non-metallic minerals do not contain metals, nothing can be extracted. Coal and petroleum are termed as non-metallic because they do not have anything that is same as that of a metal, so they are non-metallic. Coal is a fossil fuel which is formed from the swampy forest that were buried under the earth millions of years ago. Due to the heat and pressure applied by the new vegetation, this dead plants were changed into coal. And we discussed about the places in India where coal is produced, where coal is found, coal mines are found, and the different uses of coal like cooking, heating homes and buildings, then electricity, producing electricity in thermal power plants, then steam engines, and used in blast furnace in steel industry. So this is all about metallic minerals and non-metallic mineral, coal. There is one more non-metallic mineral, petroleum, which we will discuss in the next video. So read your textbook and study the formation, uses and places in which coals are found. Thank you.